share the WMAC fund appropriations, please?
I have it if you want to let me do the share screen, Christina.
Go ahead, Amber.
I just sent it to Christina, so it might be a little.
Oh, okay, I have it too, so whatever you guys want.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
mine's a
this-
little different. Christina, can you share the one I sent you? Because it has all the budget
Yes.
numbers on it.
Amber, can you drop?
Yeah, I was gonna say, mine gets down to the 171, 214. Is that what you were looking for?
No, I came up with 163.89.
Did you take something out then?
As
Because
soon as we share the screen, I'll tell you.
okay. Right. I'll keep an eye on
This is
mine.
not easy. This is not easy.
Because right now on our cover sheet, we're pulling 171.
Okay, I got it. Mine says 163.89.
Okay.
Okay, so go up to the top of the page, Christina, please. All right, so we'll start with Public Works. The first one is Public Works boat. If this is so, all right, so here's the first thing. Are we comfortable with everything in Public Works going out of the WMAC? It's the boat equipment, it's the buoys and lifelines, it's the town landings, it's dredging, and it's boat maintenance.
Well, that's where we get into some of the comments that came from some of the WMAC members. That not all of the time that the Bay Constable spend on the water is on mooring.
It's not on moorings, it's on water. I mean, I never said that, we're justifying all these expenses, just how they relate to moorings. I mean, I'm saying we're charging a mooring fee to address our needs on the water. So we could say that with everything, that, buoys and lifelines have nothing to do with it. Town landing has nothing to do with it. Dredging has nothing to do with it. But it's maintenance on the water. Jump in, anybody.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the Waterways Management Advisory Council, this mission statement and operational structure. So I was trying to figure out from here.
It wouldn't be the advisory council, it'd be the water management, whatever that title is. Waterways management,
Advisory
it would be that
committee.
charter, not the WMAC.
Okay, I guess I was looking at WMAC. Where do you find that?
I'm looking for it too. I'll find it.
I have it. I'll share it with you. I'm going to
Oh,
email
good.
it to
All
everybody.
right, good.
And it's the Waterways Fund is what I have.
Right, right.
Okay. Just sent it. There's no title. I just,
Oh, you can't share it?
oh,
Well, anybody can share it. Who got it? Except me. I don't know how to share.
I can share. Can you see it?
Yep.
There you go.
So it says percentage of Bay Constable wages. It doesn't say what percentage. Highway laborer contractors cost to remove unpermitted moorings. Let's see. Dredging. Navigation buoys.
Right, so under the Public Works section, we had boat equipment. We had
Right.
buoys and lifelines, we had town landings, we had dredging,
Mhm.
and boat maintenance.
Right.
And this is all things done out of,
Right now, it comes out of the A fund.
yeah, and out of the Public Works, Brian's.
Right.
budget that He's responsible for.
Yeah, that whole category, Public Works.
Right.
And this document that we're looking at, can we just have some history? I mean, I know it, but I mean, I think I do, but just for, it says water, it's not clear from it.
Right. I mean, this
Title.
is just what I had in, it's what I had found in my email.
Yeah.
So we have to look at the chapter 92, which is, fees
Yeah.
will be used to
Yeah.
cover associated with blah, 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 related to enforcement of this chapter.
Yep.
All right, so I'll pull that up.
While you're doing that, I know in 2022, this same grouping of Public Works monies came out of WMAC was 25,000 last year. So this year we're pulling 25,800. So at least for 2022, we utilized WMAC money.
Okay. Ah,
What did
Sorry.
that say? Go back, what was it?
this,
Oh, 90.2, okay,
yeah, 90.2.
right.
Well, and then what is it, 90.5K? All right, so here's 90.2. So let me go down to wherever it talks about usage.
Okay.
List.
It is K,
It's
yeah,
Okay.
go all the way to K.
Revenues collected hereunder shall be applied primarily to the administrative expenses of this chapter and to projects and services associated with the management, protection, and enhancement of town waters and town-owned underwater lands.
So that seems to indicate just not mooring. That's not limited to moorings.
Right. I
Doesn't-
rushed
Does
the page.
everyone
Yeah,
read it that way?
yes.
And
Yeah. My one recommendation, DJ, is that we need to extract this information and send it to 7 members of the WMAC to educate them exactly what our thought process is.
okay, I'll just make I'll make a note of that, Jim. Sorry.
Management,
Mhm.
protection, and enhancement of town waters. I mean, I think that says it all.
Amber, what's the current budget at now in there? That, I think they're reacting more to that than anything else.
Yeah,
no,
the
what-
amount,
You mean a waterways budget?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not up to that yet. First,
Okay.
that's the second page. So
okay,
let's finish the appropriations. So that's all Public Works, 25,800. Next is the police boat.
wait a
Maintenance.
minute, let's get
Okay.
it back up there.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, we
sorry.
need to get the spreadsheet.
Christina, can
Yeah,
you share
Yeah,
that
I
again?
stopped sharing.
it's all right. We have all afternoon. We don't have to go fast.
I don't think
We're all
I can-
moving a little slow.
I know.
Wait,
Feel
I
like
have-
Okay, so in the police,
Walking
there's 3
underwater.
items, actually there's 5 items. The boat maintenance, $8,000. Boat gas and oil, 14,000. Boat equipment is 3,000 for a total of 25,000. And the big one is the bay constables. Now, this is all the bay constables, including Bo's portion other than animal control and Butch's portion other than highway department.
And the part-timers?
Everybody, includes everybody, every bay constable.
Okay.
All right.
Just on the boat gas, oil, Shelby, I had 13,000. Did we take that up in the budget?
What do you have,
No,
Amber? 13?
13 is what, yeah, what the town board had said.
Okay, so put that in.
And the only thing, Jerry, you're missing, Butch's longevity.
It's,
Oh, that's in a different section. Oh, you're down about.
No, for the
Okay.
Bay Constable longevity, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so you got to add 1692 to the top.
and I also had the boat canvas and the rub rail, 10,000. That's a little bit of our difference.
Oh, I don't have that.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, I thought we were putting that in capital funds, Amber.
I don't know if it's capital though. I said it's really repair.
Yeah, we didn't move that into capital.
We moved the engines, the boat engines to
Oh,
capital.
right. Okay.
Yeah,
So then we had this coming out of WME.
So that would be boat equipment, Amber?
Well, I had it separately listed from what Shelby had given me. But we can put it in boat equipment because that's really what it is.
How much is it?
So in total, it'd be 13,000, not 3,000. We'd have to
Okay.
add 10.
And the boat gas and oil is going down to 13?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So what does that change that number to?
Section
34,000?
Last year, we only utilized 11,000 for police,
Okay.
lines.
I'm sorry, how much? 11?
11, yeah, just giving you a little historical.
Yep.
And nothing in 2021.
Okay. So Shelby, you have to add Butch's longevity to the Bay Constables.
Do you need that number? Who's got? this?
1692.31.
yeah, that's already part of, my spreadsheet I have on the cover sheet, the poll.
Okay.
So you just have to update it on yours, Jerry.
All right. So what's the total number then?
For the Bay Constables, it's $91,342.80.
That's with both longevities?
Correct.
Okay. So what is the total come to then, Joe?
The total for police,
No, for that whole upper level. Well, yeah, give me the total for police first, please.
34.
so the police poll is the 34,000.
Right?
Then the Bay Constables, the 91,342.80.
Okay.
So
what are those three numbers? You have Public Works, Police, and Bay Constables.
yeah. Do you want the waterways, the WMAC?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll work our way down.
151, 142, 80 cents.
151, 142.80. Okay. All right, now we'll go down to the waterways management.
Oh,
So
and
we
I
have,
just- Before,
Sure.
you leave Bay Constables, I think a question that was out there was what percentage of the Bay Constables like salaries? And so for Butch and Bo, it's 5 months of their total salary for the year.
no, I think they wanted to know the way I understood, Amber, what percentage of their salary is related to the moorings?
Mm,
Not what, in other words, this salaries for Bay Constables is all inclusive of all the time that they're working as the Bay Constables. The way I understood the question was, well, how much of that goes towards, where the money's coming from?
mhm.
So I don't know how you answer that, because again, it goes back to what what it said before. Kay said, management, protection, and enhancement of town waters. So my feeling is it should be all the Bay Constables' money.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's what's in there is it is 100% Bay Constable money, but I
Right.
misread the question. Yeah.
Okay,
So, yeah, because I mean, one of the comments in here was, the main task of Bay Constables render assistance to those in need, oversee transient anchorages, regulate speed limits, prevent imprudent operation of vessels. So you're saying that all is part of,
well, that's what it says. It says, collected money shall be applied to management, protection, and enhancement of town waters.
I'm just,
That's 90.5K. Do my Stephen impression.
oh, section 90.5, okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, so let's go down to waterways management. Christina, if you could, there you go. Okay, so we have the waterways management clerk and we have the town clerk. For a total of $16,621.59. And we have the waterways management fund. 34,500, same as it's always been. For a total of $20,071.59. So Shell, now I need you to add that with the new numbers.
Yeah, so then that gives us the 171, 214.39.
214. Okay, and Amber, what did you have?
The same.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, before we could go into, how we're gonna get this money, is, I mean, my position, I'm comfortable with justifying that this is all waterways management money. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I also think, I mean, I want to just come back to this topic that just rings in my head, which is also, what's fair, that it's that whatever increase we decide upon, it's to me, the other, or part of the discussion should be, what is a fair price for, renting a town asset for two
Well,
different classes
that's
of
the next
people.
page. That's
No,
the
I
next
know, but
page. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just not about, so like, if we cover every penny of the cost, or we cover less than every penny of the cost, or slightly over. I think that, let's not lose sight of the fact of what's an appropriate thing to charge, amount to charge for the two different classes of moorings, and, well, three ultimately, but two right now. Do you know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, BJ. I think it's a couple things. One is, I think we're seriously outdated in the prices we charge
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
to begin with. Two, this is kind of the path we've been taking on everything. That if there's user fees involved, if we could take it out of the general tax base, that's what we should be doing, rather than have everybody pay for water. It's like we did at the landfill with the contractors. You pay for your
Yeah.
leaves. They could
Right.
pass that cost on, just as the commercial moorings can pass the cost on. But again, I think it's fair. I think it's the right thing to do, and it goes with our philosophy of user fees as opposed to general tax base.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Christina, you want to go to the next one, the increases? Okay, now what I did here was our original was on the top, commercial option A and residential option B1. That was the original proposal. Then we changed it to, no, the original proposal was residential, commercial B and commercial B and residential B1. Okay, so it was the first column on the bottom and the second column on the top. That gave us a total of $232,650. After some discussion, BJ came up with some alternatives. Residential option B is half of.
Well, wait, Jerry, I further refined this. If I could, let me try to share. Oh, gosh, I'm just going to be so bad at this in general and now with COVID brain, but let me try. Okay, share screen. Here it is. Share. Open that up. Okay. Need to shrink you people. Okay. Here are the current numbers, just so we have, because we didn't do it, we did it sort of globally before and it wasn't so informative. So I think this was a better estimate until I hear more detail tomorrow. So what we were, just in terms of revenues, that this is current conditions. Well, forget the bottom there. Let's just look at these. So you see column F. Moorings revenue due in 2023.
Right?
Does everybody see that? So breaking out commercial, using the percentage numbers again, we'll have a finer brush hopefully after tomorrow. That 64,000 would have been expected in 2024 at 2025. Okay. I think,
No,
There's
what,
that.
64,000?
yeah.
I'm looking at 33, 15 and 7, but I'm not sure.
33, 15 and 7. 7 what?
7,980. Where are you look? You put them, okay.
Yeah,
So you
you
have
see that?
3360. That's 58% of the what?
Commercial, of the
Commercial,
commercial.
okay.
And then you come down here
Oh.
to 31,000 is the residential to be expected. You know,
Same thing,
again, on that
58%.
58%. You add those two up, it would have been 64,000.
Okay, so that seems a little low just because in 2020, because every third year is our big year, we had
But
70.
what is the rate based on?
It's
What-
what
what it
existing
is?
is.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
what
existing. Oh,
existing
okay,
is.
okay.
Yeah. And it was 70 what in Amber?
76,000 in 2020 and in 2017.
It will be a little higher because these numbers again are based on a renewal price. So some of the revenue due is a new application price, which is more money.
Okay.
I just so I understand, this is if we don't do anything with the fees.
Right, I just wanted to give, everybody an idea
okay,
of where it is.
Yep.
Okay, so now, let's see, sheet 2. This kind of just, I hope simplifies what we were looking at on your sheet, Jerry.
Yep.
So top up here are just different proposals for the commercial. And here are the bottom line, for commercials. Per year, no more per 3 years, just per year, what this would yield. Again, it'll be tweaked. It would, because we're gonna, there are holding moorings in here that we want to pull out, et cetera. And well, and that's just not a lot, but I just want to throw that out there. And then the second down here, the second section is residential. If we didn't go to which the WMAC again thought that doing it per foot pricing was unnecessarily complicating and would create administrative burden. So I just did these rates over here. The first thing that you see under residential are flat rates, not doing it per foot. I find it interesting, Jerry, then go further down. If we did per foot rates, the light yellow is your original, Jerry.
Right.
Based sort of on Southold, what Southold kind of does.
Yep.
The middle is just again using those same divisions, 20 less than 20 feet, 20 to 27, 28 plus. But at a lower
cut the
rate.
fee in half though, BJ. I thought we were
well,
gonna
you
go
can cut the-
100, 200 and 300.
No, you can just do that in your head. So
Okay.
2 into 15, I mean, I just figured it didn't need a separate, that would be close to 80,000. So this is cutting it even a little bit more. And then the third, the darker, is rejiggering the separations a little bit, making it 20 to 29 instead of 20 to 27 and 30 plus. And keeping the fees low is 59,000. What I do find interesting at 125 per year, or 150 per year per mooring, you come in close to these numbers. These last two numbers. Anyway, just as an option of not doing the per foot. Again, just taking into account what the WMAC had advised.
What do we charge for the canoe storage?
I have that pulled up on my screen already, if you want to see it.
Yeah,
It's,
I have to,
it's $50 for a small vessel, which is like a kayak or a
Mhm.
paddle board or a dinghy under 9 feet. $100 for a medium boat, which is multi-hull, no longer than 20, oh, I'm sorry, a sunfish or a laser.
Mhm.
And then a large boat is multi-hull or no longer than 23 feet with rudders extended and no wider than 10 feet for 2 people, no more than 1 mast. And it can only be moved by hand, not on like a over-the-road trailer.
How
Like
much is that?
that's $150
Yeah.
per season.
Mhm.
So, you know,
DJ, can you please drop the share screen?
oh, yeah,
Thank you.
sorry.
do you want me to share
Okay.
mine? I have it all open if that's helpful. Just so you
Go,
can.
go ahead, it's open.
So these are from the town clerk's page.
So
So you
50,
have
100, and 150. Okay.
50, 100, 150, and then this is the description on right next to it, vessel size definition
Right.
guide. I mean, all the boats on moorings for the most part are going to be large.
Right.
So, you know, it would seem fair to charge the same amount to moor your boat as it does to park it on the beach when you have to drag it in by hand, but
Okay. All right, Christine, just go back to the one I sent you on the mooring increase, please. Okay, can you scroll down a little? Some more. Okay. Okay, so again, what I did, well, I have one here. I didn't send you. I have, go scroll up so I can just see the titles on the top, please. A little bit. Good, good, good. Okay.
Good.
So I have our original, this is what we started with. We started with commercial option B on the top and residential option B1. That's where we started. That's what my proposal was. Then after listening to everyone and going over it, I looked at, let's go to commercial option A, which is $150 a year for all the commercial ones, which would be double what they're paying now. And then at the residential B, I took BJ's formula, but just cut it in half to 100, 200, and 300 per foot. So that gave us a total of 123,450. So it's still not quite what we want to spend, but it's, I mean, I proposed my original one, and I felt comfortable with that because, aside from what we want to spend, I think we want to start putting money away in that fund also for any major expenses.
I have an analysis on fund balance once we
Okay,
figure out the
Mhm.
revenue, which one we want to pop in there.
right.
Because what I have is 248,650. But I'm not seeing that number anywhere.
So just to make it just one step further on mine, I said, if we go with option B, which is 150 commercial and 100, 200, or 300 foot for the boats, it's 123,450, but it's 54% of that is what we'll get the first year is 66,600. So mine's based on, the original number is based on all of them, in 1 year. But if we go 3 years, it's going to be 66,000. And up top, it's going to be, what the top's going to be, let's see, 63,750 times 54%, Amber.
Okay, I'm still trying to follow this.
I'll do it. I'll
sheet.
give me 1 second. I'll do
About
it.
130,
Commercial
about
option-
130,000.
Yeah, so you're doing commercial option A, which gives us 42,750 for the commercial moorings.
Hold on one second. here. Okay, what'd you say, Jim? 34,425?
No, I thought it was, if you said 54% above that, I thought it was around 130,000, but I could be
No,
wrong.
no. In other words, I'm looking at the $63,750.
Yes,
We went 150 a year.
yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I'm 40. Oh, I did the wrong number. Okay. 12. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry.
I'd like to say is just also another philosophical thing. I think the commercial should be at least as much as the most expensive residential, if not a little more. They're making money on it. It's a income producing asset. And again, there's just something about that I think at least bears a discussion.
I don't disagree with that. And
I
think-
feel like the base price on residential should be 150 because that's what we charge people to store a boat on the
Right.
beach.
Right.
And I think it should start there. And then if we're gonna do it tiered, so, looking at residential option B2, you said that was 100, 200, and 300. So it would be 150, 250, 350. Did I do that math right? Instead,
Yeah,
But
I
I
understand what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't think it's for many reasons. I feel like the cost to have your boat on a mooring should be at least equal, at very least
Right.
equal to the cost to have your boat on the beach.
Right. Mhm.
Yes, and if we just think, well, also if we again did the simple one, which is 150 per mooring, just flat rate, that's 64,000, and we went up to 300 per year for the commercials, that's 85,000. So 64 and 85 is 149,700.
That would be a total though. We're only getting 54% of that this year.
Right. Right. No, that's an annual figure. When you get it is another discussion.
Yeah.
That's an annual revenue number. Yeah,
No, it's not.
no,
No, because it's not equal each year. In other words, we took the total, Amber figured it out down to it's 54% of renewals this coming year. So if we go
Right,
with the 66,663 and the 23,085, it brings us to $89,748 income for 2023.
and then in 2024, we add another.
Amber, you have that
14%.
percentage? You have that sheet,
Which sheet
the projections?
for the fund balance?
Yeah, for income. Yeah,
Well, first I just want to go in, hone in on a number. So then so you're doing $150 per year for both commercial and residential? Is that what you're?
I would- I
proposing?
was suggesting oh, sorry, I don't
go
know.
ahead, go ahead. Go ahead, BJ.
Oh, I was suggesting 300 per year per commercial, a flat rate of 150 per year for residential. Again, keeping in mind of, what our advice that we received. To those numbers come to, without figuring out the percent, as Jerry pointed out, the 300 per year is 85,000 for the commercial side.
Yep.
The 150 per year is 64,000 for the residential side.
Yep. Okay. And then
And
if we apply the 54% to that, that's 80,595 plus another 16,000 that comes in from the boat storage at beaches.
Mhm. And bear in mind, again, we have to get, that number has to be fine tuned because we don't know which is commercial, how much is commercial and how much is.
Right, right. So
uh,
then we're looking at in 2023 revenues of 96,595. And then, all right, I just. let me just-
Have that sheet, Am, can you share it or?
Yeah, let me just, I want to write down, because my sheet blows out to future years.
Oh,
So I just want to do the calculation for 2024 and then 2025.
BJ, at Jack's,
Yeah.
at Jack's Marina,
Yeah,
do they provide a shuttle out to your boat?
I don't know if the new management does. I'd have to check that. I know Cocos Harbor doesn't and Pecosi's doesn't. When you're a boater, it's really about the bathrooms. How clean are they?
Yeah.
Can you get rid of your trash? That's very important. Um, and walkability. But Cocos Harbor, I think, does provide the electric cars still.
Yeah.
And a
Only
pool.
because when Mike sold that business, there was quite a bit of feedback about how the town was losing money on that enterprise with the commercial moorings,
Yes.
There was
Yes.
a lot of pushback from people in the know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't follow
Well,
you.
Chris-
How are we losing money?
Well, no, I don't say losing money. We weren't taking in a sufficient amount of money for what we could be.
Right. Giving
know.
away the store, maybe. Yeah.
Correct. That was a better term. Sorry. I didn't mean we were losing money, Joe.
Yeah.
We
It also occurs, the Ramshead isn't on here under commercial,
Oh, yeah, that should be on here. That's 8.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have to pull them out, and figure out.
Yes. Okay, so Christina, can you drop the share, please? So I'm gonna have you guys. I'll make the changes as we go through them. So the number that I had gotten from the accountants was the 12/31/2021 balance in the fund was 92,000. The poll for 2022 had already gotten taken out of there, just the way they account for it. They sort of do the encumbering. I added in the 2022 revenues that we budgeted, and then we weren't going to end up expending the full, what was included in that 92. So we should end this year with 136,000 in that account.
Thank
And it
you.
kind of
Thank
makes
you.
sense Because I think Amber had given us a figure of like 150 something, but we haven't finished.
And then, but
spending.
just so everybody know, the boat storage fees are not in here. That they're in the general fund right now.
No, I have them in here.
Oh, you did put them over there? Okay.
Yes, yes. So originally we were budgeting 2023 revenues at 248, but if we go through with what we just talked about, $300 per year for commercial, 150 per year for residential, plus 16,000 boat storage. This figure is not 248, it should be 96,595. And then for 2023 capital projects, when I met with Joe and Brian, the South Silver Beach 50,000 currently is coming out of appropriations in our capital budget. But it is part of our marine assets. So we may just want to, think about that. But with our budgeted expenditures at 171,214, we would end with a fund balance of 60, just almost 62,000. So it's a little light there. Just looking at things. Then our budgeted revenues for 2024 jump up from 96,595 to 136,893. Looking at capital projects, Crescent Beach groin number 2 needs to be taken care of in 2024, so we'd want that to come out. And then just, I didn't inflation affect our expenditures, but that could be taken care of. Inflationing our,
Right.
but once we do that, actually our fund balance goes down to 7,200, so it's going in the wrong direction. And then our budgeted revenues for 2025 would be 165, 250. We don't have any capital projects slated for 2025, so it would just be the regular, but again, our balance is really low.
Yeah.
And then going forward, I just wanted to kind of just blow out like where we go into the future. And 2026, with these revenues, the capital projects listed there, the Silver Beach Tip and Crescent Beach groin number 1, and our usual expenditures were in the red. So we don't have enough money to cover what we need to do that year. Same thing, looking at 2027. And then over the next 5 years, we're in the red. And then also projects in the foreseeable future. When we get like, we don't have, years 10, 11 through 40, we've got a lot of stuff coming down, especially in years 35 and 40. But I don't think we need to go out that far because normally your capital planning doesn't go out that, you look at it, but you don't try and take care of it currently. But anyway, so either our revenues are not heavy enough or our expenditures are too high. Because our
Or
balance.
some will have to come out of general fund.
Right,
as a
yeah, I mean,
third
yes, that's when I say
option.
expenditures too high means that we can't pull as much. We have to
Yeah.
put it in appropriations. Tax revenue appropriations. So that's kind of where we stand.
So the 96,595 budgeted revenues, which rates are you taking for that?
I am using $300 a year for commercial
Okay,
and 150 per year for residential and 16,000 for boat storage fees at the beaches and landings.
so we're going 150 across we're getting away from the per foot for
Well-
the residential.
Yeah, I'm just reminding you that, it was a sort of a big recommendation from WMAC that was, I mean, they brought up the riparian moorings, which are not required to have a boat, but the way that's easily dealt with in my view, which is you just say, okay, the minimum is a 30-foot boat, let's just say. And if you have, and that's what you'll pay. And if you have a boat that's less than that, just come in and register it with the town clerk, even though it's riparian. And that would be your rate if you, so that I was just pointing that's out one of the objections from WMAC, but I think you can handle it. But if we did want to say, agree to take their recommendation under consideration that it is just too complicated in flat rate, 150 is a starting point as for the discussion, I think.
Yeah, as Meg said, 150 is
Right.
what we charge for the catamaran, the catamarans on the beach.
Right. And also to think about where we're starting from, as we've said, commercial, some extent could pass some of this cost through, if they want. But for a resident to go from 125 every 3 years to 150 in a year is a
Significant.
lift. And
Well,
the other
I'm gonna
side
make-
of that is you don't want to do this all the time.
Make some suggestions.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm most comfortable with the 150 and 3.
I think it's the fairest increases.
Mhm.
I second that.
You know, the 150, you know, it's the same as the biggest boat storage fees at beaches and landings.
Yes,
And granted, they've got tackle costs and things like that, so overall, it is a more expensive option for a
Right.
boat owner. And then being a little bit higher for commercial because it is revenue generating. But it's not as drastic as some of the other proposals we originally had. And I think flat is more manageable from an administrative point of view.
Especially because in this next, few billing, next period especially, we're going to annual over a time period here, which is an administrative hurdle in and of itself.
yes,
To add a second layer to that might be just asking too much.
And also doing it, like phasing it in as renewals come up rather than.
Yeah.
I agree with that too. Wholeheartedly
I
agree
do
with
too.
that. Yes.
All right, so we're looking at 42,750 gross. So that'd be times 54%. And what was it commercial with 300 gross?
Now, hold on, I'm getting there.
Commercial, it was,
Amber, you want to drop the share?
85,000,
oh yeah, sorry. It was
about
85,
85.
500 before applying the renewal percentage.
So do the gross times 54%.
With commercial and residential or just
Yeah,
commercial?
yeah, both of them, please.
Okay, so yeah, it's 149, 250, and then by 54%, we get 80,595. And then I add
Okay.
16,000 on top of that.
So
And then 16, you said?
Yes.
So 96,595.
Mm-hmm.
well, I mean, the 16 for the boat storage is already anticipated. I mean, we've already accounted for that
Yes,
in the budget.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
no, but we had originally, the total that we had was like 248,650. That had.
No, I'm talking about for the boat storage. That anticipated revenue is already in there in the A fund.
But it was already in
is?
the, we had taken the budget number up to 248,650. That
So
was
you took it out of the other, revenue line?
I'm pretty sure, Shelby, check me on that. I thought it was already in the same fund that we've put all of the revenues in and we're putting all of the expenditures in. And then we're taking out what's getting saved in the fund.
Right. We made it a wash either
Yeah.
way.
Yes,
Okay,
the boat storage fees were already part of the wash.
okay, so if we go with these changes and we keep the expenses what they are, we're gonna have to add 90,620 to the tax base.
No, because.
That sounds high.
You have
No,
171,214 is the total expenses,
that's
and
not
the income is 80,595.
what we're. pulling-
96,595.
96.
Not, what is it?
96,595.
Yeah, 96,
Right?
595.
Yeah.
What's ending up going to happen is instead of like in the other situation, we had 248,650 coming in revenues, which was both mooring fees and boat storage fees. We were pulling out 171,214, which gave us a net of 77,436. We put in an extra line for that exact figure that was us putting money into the waterways fund. So this will have no bearing on the budget The only concern that I have is that we're going to end 2023 with only 62,000 in the waterways fund. And then in 2024, that drops down to 7,200. And in 2025, it drops down to 1,300.
And we,
No reserves there.
but we could even add to those reserves from other sources, unallocated fund balance or, right?
I have an analysis on that.
Right, so
Shocking.
just to
Shocking. I
follow,
need a
just to
lot of-
follow through on this conversation,
Mhm.
if the way we're doing it now is gonna be of no use in 3 years, don't you think we should be looking at the fees a little differently?
Yeah, or the expenditure. Spending
But
it
the
all
expenses
on
are the
fund.
expenses. I mean, and again, we didn't even make those go up at all. You know, we kept them the same for 3 years. Your projection.
Except we weren't pulling them from waterways, we were pulling them from tax revenues.
I'm talking about the actual expenses.
Right, yeah, no, the expenses are the same, it's just how we're funding it.
Right. And we can go back to putting it on the tax base. It's just the percentage is gonna go up, what the increase is gonna be. Thoughts?
And the only thought I have, Jerry, is that the time I've been on the board, especially early on the board, like 6 and 7 years ago, we weren't nearly as active with our marine assets in terms of caring for them. That wasn't good. Therefore, we inherited a tremendous amount of expenditures because of our marine assets. So many things needed to be done over a fairly short period of time. I do think that once in a while, maybe every 4 years, you take a hiatus and say, hey, listen, unless it's and that might be the case in 2025, where you have to say, listen, maybe Shell Beach is going to have to wait 1 more year, before we get involved with the booking and at the end, or something of that nature. That's just a thought, but I think we've been very diligent about staying on it. The bad thing about marine assets is 2 things. Number one, you can't predict
Right.
storm damage in the next 3 to 5 years. And number 2 is you don't know what's going to fall apart on its own that we haven't, nobody knew Dawn Lane
Right.
shape it was in and these other bulkheads. So I think that has to be explained to the public. These things don't miraculously fix themselves. They have to be, living on an island, you don't have this problem in Hicksville or Carl Place. You don't have bulkheads. So, being on an island with that, what is the cost of that, especially with all the threats to sea rise and
Right.
things of that nature. So,
Yeah, but when you sat down with Joe and Brian, how far into the future did you project?
There, the spreadsheet goes all the way to 40 years. That's why I blew out what I did there.
yeah.
So there's not, because we've taken care of some big projects recently, Taylor's Island, got taken care of a few years ago, Grace's Lane. There's different ones that have
In a
been,
volunteer park, yeah.
yeah, there's been a lot done. So that's why we start to get hit badly in years 35 and 40. Because those big things that we've taken care of will come up again.
Yeah. That too has to be explained to the public, by the way. Because when you do a master plan like that for capital planning, you have to take that into consideration. What's the life expectancy for these things?
Mhm.
And in a sort of roundabout way, this sort of answers or takes into account, again, the WMAC's feeling that the moorings shouldn't cover it all.
Right.
And so, we didn't come at that directly, but it is an unintended and perhaps a welcome consequence of the way we're doing this, is to say, okay, well, this is what the moorings, is a fair burden. And the rest has to come out of appropriations.
Or some type of alternate funding, which we try to do our best to secure.
Mhm.
Right.
Because every time we're talking about Real Point, we're talking about the two causeways. So when the Army Corps comes in, God, I hope it's sooner rather than later, and does their thing about Real Point, we got to have them look at both causeways, because they're involved in both of those things. You can't just address the one problem without addressing the others.
Okay, so that's gonna be our proposal. 150 and 300.
Just looking back at expenditures, what we're pulling out, what we're using waterways money for is about 104,000 more than we normally do. Because we're using 81,000 more for Bay Constable salaries, and we're using 23,000 more for police boat maintenance. Their Bay Constable boat maintenance.
Okay. Shelby, you'll have something for us tomorrow on what the impact will be?
Well, I think like Amber said, there won't be any impact. It stays the same.
It's really our fund, it's really the waterways fund balance.
Fund balance.
Yeah.
It's at risk here.
What's the budget increase right now as of today?
We're still at 5.4.
Is there any, just out of curiosity, I have to ask the question because I'm running out of gas. Is there any magical formula to lower that somewhat? Not significantly, but to lower it somewhat. Is there some place that we can look to do that? Or is there not?
Well, Amber, that's where you
Can't
come
give you any
in,
more
right?
revenue, so it's only if you
Yeah.
want to cut
We
something.
pull from fund, like the overall fund balance.
If you want me to do a screen share, I can show you what I've got, my analysis.
Okay.
for fund balance. I haven't done the B fund, but that's usually a lot less. I just need to actually circle back to the accountant she gave me the A fund stuff. So actually, Shelby, if you could remember to
Okay, ask her.
on that one, yeah. Okay, so what we have here, let me just see. Okay, so we ended this. We ended 2021. That's why I did this. For some reason, I cannot get this spreadsheet to save my headings at the top. It's not behaving like my Excel does in the office.
Okay. But
But
it's $2.3 million, right?
yes, so this is the total here at the end of 2021 is 2.3 million. What we've got in unassigned, like not designated for anything, is 1.1 million. We had cell tower monies of 732,000. We've got 300,000 sitting in grant funding reserve, so that when we go out for grant that's reimbursable, we've got money there. And then we do have $118,000 for capital projects that we had that we could use for something if we want to take something, like that, what was it? Whatever our project is for waterways this year, the 50,000, I guess, could come out of there. Now, for 2022, we did purchase 69 Northbury Road. At the time, we said we're going to use cell tower money. So, Jim, when you talk about using cell
Yes.
tower money,
Yeah.
what we're appropriating for 2023 and what we've already pulled out for 69 Northbury Road, we only have 300,000 left.
Okay, I
in that
got it.
cell tower money. So that's only going to last us like 4.5 more years.
I got it. Thank you.
Appropriated for 2023, we're pulling right now 109,700. I'm trying to remember what that is again. I think it's, if you could look at the cover sheet and make sure I've got the right number there. But our anticipated 2023 expenditures are 11,406,000. So we've got reserves sitting at 9%. If we add in the cemetery, our reserves are at 12%. And if you add in these other that we've kind of designated, we have reserves of 15%. So,
You're not adding in the 3 for the capital projects, right?
oh, no, that would be 15% would be everything.
No, but the 300,000 that you have for grant money, you're not,
Right.
is that included?
That's the 15%. That's
Okay.
like, that's the
That's
whole
everything.
1.7 million.
Okay. Mhm.
But the really important unassigned, which is 9%, or some would argue the cell tower money gets added in there, so it would be 12%. So that's where we are fund balance wise. So the question is how much do you want to, what
Right.
what is the right percentage? We've never gotten an answer from the Office of State Comptroller as to what our reserve should be. I think school districts have been limited to 4%. But I think 4% is really like scary low
Yeah,
in my mind.
yeah.
And Amber, at the school, and I think it's a good argument, which is when it's a smaller budget, like we're a smaller town, and you reserve only 4%, that would not cover the cost of a new roof. That would not cover a high expense individual moving into the school district, or, being
Yeah.
raised here. It just, on the dollars and cents of it, it kind of 4% is way too low. And the state, although it's mentioned, I mean, the auditors, although they mention it, and I know they've come down a little bit over the years, the last few years, but it just seems to me that anywhere between 8 and 10 is 10 and 12. I mean, just in terms of real numbers and what you might be facing.
Yeah, I mean,
know.
we're looking at, inflation of 8% this year.
Yeah.
So it's,
Shelby, just out of curiosity, being a younger person living on the island, does this ever come up in conversation with people about taxes and, can we afford to live here or?
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, I think most of the people I know don't own a home, so not necessarily.
oh,
Um,
yeah, I just looked up what that 100,000+ poll was. We have 25,000 coming that came in this year for the donation for the Waterman programs for rec. So that 25,000 needs to go into, it's going in from 2022, but then will get spent in 2023. And then we also are pulling 80,000 that we're going to be saving from the advanced life-saving coverage. So actually, I go back to my spreadsheet now that I'm thinking about it.
That's $100,000.
Yeah, we actually might have $100,000 more.
Can we go back to that sheet that you just had up before with the 2 fund balances?
Yep.
I have something I'd like to say.
Yeah, let me just, because I just realized I have it, like, we know we're gonna roll it over. So I should make sure that's reflected. Now that I'm taking a step back from this, so the 2022 estimated overage would be that 109,700. Okay. So a 1% change in our reserve percentage
To the good or bad?
to the good.
The good.
Okay,
Yeah, because
so
Does
again,
that bring us into the 4s?
if we decided to pull, so
Yeah,
instead
so
of,
I was gonna
No,
say, so I figured out that because I know Jim likes to do this, that each percentage point
yes,
is worth approximately 111,775.
112.
So you could say 112.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, so getting it from 5.4 down to 4.4 was the reason I wanted to put this back up. I was professing a month ago, 3.4, but I think that's very unrealistic. But I'm more comfortable with, a 4.4. I think people have to realize that we took care of a lot of things. Plus the fact in the salary lines, we did try to take care of, with the standard of living increasing so much this past year. We did try to go in that direction, so I think it's explainable, but at the same time, we've tried to increase revenues. I think, Jerry, you've done a good job at the recycling center, and now with waterways, increasing revenues. I also think that, we're continuing to take care of capital needs. We're addressing salaries. I'm having been a Nassau County guy, and I know you know this story, but I lived in a house that sold for $700,000. Margaret and I paid $14,000 a year in taxes. 14,000. That's with, military discount. On a piece of property that's 1/3 the size or less than what this is. This house is assessed at 3 times that, and obviously we pay just under that amount of money. So I'm very familiar with taxes and how tough it can be, when you're paying that kind of money on taxes. But out here, there's no comparison to living in Nassau County, Western Suffolk. Again, there are not all the amenities that you get there, get garbage picked up and a whole variety of other things, mail delivery and that kind of stuff. But, it is what it is. And it's a reality of living on a beautiful place and trying to maintain the infrastructure here. So I don't know, I'd be very comfortable if we could find that $112,000, someplace to be able to bring it down 4.4. Thank you.
So Amber, just so I understand, that 109,700 that you just negated,
Mm-hmm.
how does that affect the 5.4% increase?
Well, what we'd end up doing is, right now we're appropriating 109,700. So
Right.
I would just be like adding another, what is it, 100 and, wait, hold on a second. I'm doing the thing here. Appropriate for 2023. Yeah. So we'd be appropriating 221,700.
So my question is, does that affect the 5.4%?
That would take it down
Yeah.
to 4%.
We take it down to 4,
Mhm.
4.4.
4.4?
So without talking numbers, with our contract negotiations, were those differences sort of included in that original percentage before we came into this conversation? What we tossed around?
There is a cushion in there.
Okay,
Is it enough? I don't know.
right, that was the question sort of, because yeah,
Well,
so let's consider that
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's the whole
when
point.
we're talking overall percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So if 4.4 is a goal, but we have to settle for 4.8. Depending on contracts and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that, but I just.
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I
know,
was gonna say, because we still have some, we've still got salary stuff that needs to be
Yeah,
sorted out. But I'm still nervous about the waterways fund balance. For the record.
so are you thinking it should be more like 2 and 350? For the rate instead of 150 and 3? Like, I don't know if that would make enough of a difference long term,
I
but
don't think you can go up much more than 3 on the commercial. I mean, I was projecting 250.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't think,
it was 84,000.
No, I'm thinking just more in terms of not taking all of these expenses.
putting them somewhere else. Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
150 across the board is a bargain. I think it's,
Mhm.
I do too. I wouldn't mess too much with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's fair. I agree.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out what other possible solution you had in mind if it wasn't.
No, just not
Just-
stepping up the operating expenses so quickly coming out. of
Right.
it.
Okay.
Although we don't, if we step them up next year, we still, it just pushes the problem down.
Down the road.
Down the road a year.
But there's that other thing is, maybe we can add to the fund over time from appropriations a little, whatever that might mean. And that in 5 years it can be, so this is in working and we've had single years for a bit. Maybe at that time it needs to be raised again.
Or, I mean, actually, the idea of putting money from appropriations into that fund is then a way for the general tax base to be paying for.
Contributing.
stuff instead of just
Right.
mooring owners and boat storage
And-
people.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again, philosophically, it should have some integrity.
Mhm.
And it does with this way we're thinking and discussing it today.
Yeah.
All right, so Shell, you'll have an update for us for tomorrow? And so we can see what,
We also
Percentages,
get
huh?
some numbers from Brian, but I didn't get a chance to look at it for one of the capital items. So we can talk about that tomorrow too.
Um,
Are we gonna talk the clerk's salary tomorrow? Is that?
Yeah,
other-
yeah, I have to finish going through that.
Okay.
I don't think the clerk stuff shouldn't be that big of a numbers hit. We do need to look at those.
Amber, do you need another day? Should we meet on Wednesday?
Yeah, because
Amber and
tomorrow we're
Shelby.
gonna be just totally focused on the community housing plan, aren't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
let's not
think
try
that,
and,
I think that's a good idea.
how are we doing time-wise then?
Amber, you back on the island?
Oh, yeah, I'm back.
Oh, okay, okay.
I
The
got
Yeah,
first
my-
thing tomorrow, Amber, you and I have a meeting with Highway at
Yeah.
8, right?
Yep, and I've got website at 9
Yeah,
and then,
DJ, 100%, let's go with Wednesday. I think that's,
Yeah.
hopefully I'll feel better.
Yeah. And remember, I was supposed to fly out and we wanted this, but I had to
Right.
cancel all that because I don't think I'm going to be tested negative.
Yeah,
So Wednesday might be good.
Okay.
okay, so we had a budget meeting scheduled for 10 AM tomorrow. So we're gonna
Right.
move that to Wednesday?
yes,
10
sir.
a.m.
I am.
Does
Yeah.
10 a.m. work?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gives everybody a
No,
little time.
not
to-
10 AM on Wednesday.
Okay.
No?
Can we do the afternoon? Because I've got, hang on a
Mhm.
second,
Yes,
calendar.
anytime's good for me.
Yeah, I got a 9, I got a 10, I got an 11. So say 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah, and there's that 10 AM budget tomorrow. I knew I had like 3 back-to-back meetings again.
Jerry, just 2 quick questions. Did they bring the red chairs back over from across the street?
I looked, I didn't see him over there.
Yeah, they
so-
did. I
Okay,
think, Brian was there this morning.
okay, and what's her face? Left a scarf or something. She contacted Brian. The other thing was the plaque that's gonna be hung up outside the clerk's office. I left that near Judy's desk, but I would like you guys to,
Yeah,
come out and select a spot and see if we can get that up as soon as possible.
sure. Okay.
All right.
Okay, I think that's it. Anybody else have anything?
No. I think I'm
Okay,
up.
so we're gonna recess the budget meeting till Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Jerry.